Salute, guys. Salute, Knicks Nation. Let's talk about this game. Man, frustrating night as the Knicks drop back-to-back games now and go to 24 and 12 on the season, losing this one. Late third quarter collapse, right? Schedule loss. Let's talk about it. After last night's heroic performance in Oklahoma, the New York Knicks were in command at halftime of this one, right? There was an extended halftime break for the Derrick Rose ceremony tonight, and the Knicks felt, like they were half asleep to start that third quarter. And the Chicago Bulls, man, put their foot on the gas, and the Knicks made a late comeback. We'll talk about that play that would have cut it to 5 as Landry Shamet hit a big corner three, but Cameron Payne had fouled the opponent closing out, and the bucket was ruled out. Right, that would have made things really interesting, but the Knicks lost this one in the third quarter. They weren't, energetic. They didn't have it going after halftime, after last night's game, the travel, right? And frustrating night, really, losing another game to the Chicago Bulls, right? In a really frustrating fashion. Kobe White, I mean, the less said, the better. I mean, that guy looks like an all-star every time he plays us. I mean, you think somebody would know by now to guard the man as he put up and hit 9 threes. I mean, just unbelievable. I'm trying not to, dig too deep into this one. I mean, we're in a good position. For the month as a whole, I think if we can go 9-6 out of these 15 games, as we talked about with the chat, and the second last show, the Knicks can go 9-6 for this month. I think it would be a solid month, but we've lost 2 games now already in the month, and we can only afford to lose, another 4 more if we are to go 9-6. I mean, people had dreams of 10-5, 11-4 now. I think 10-5 still on. 11-4 this month is going to be pretty tough, but we're going to talk about it, guys. As Karl Anthony Towns put up 44 points tonight, heroic effort from Cat. He battled. He just didn't seem to quit. He got injured towards the end as well, and I hope that it ain't anything major. He was able to walk off and limp back to the locker room, man, with about 3 minutes remaining, fam, as Tibbs still had the starters out there. Vaughn, salute to you. David, Daniel Berry, buzzer beater. Let's talk about it, guys. Give us your takes on this one. Do you, look into this one too heavy? Obviously, the back-to-back, Buzzer saying that, he thought it would be a tough win tonight. Being the back-to-back on the road, we need some home cooking. Definitely agree, and we're gonna get plenty of home cooking, fam. As you look at the schedule, man, this was only one of 4 road games this month, and the Knicks don't have to actually technically jump on a plane until February 3rd, right? With Philly and Brooklyn next up. The Knicks don't need to fly out there, obviously. But yeah, David says Tibbs already has a D from me. Frustrating night, fam. On to the next, says Vaughn Allen. I mean, we're going to talk about some guys out in Westchester that had a great night tonight. Daddy A, 21 points on 8 of 16. Huck Porty and Moses Brown played well, but the Knicks got a little bit extra, juice from their bench, Cameron Payne and Landry Shamet, but it just wasn't enough. The starters didn't have it in that third quarter, and as I rewind, the Knicks were in firm control at the half. Like the second quarter wasn't completely convincing, but the Knicks still had a 9-point lead, and you thought, there's no way we should drop this one. But that third quarter was all-time collapse, and I'm talking all-time, fam. The Knicks basically got outscored 15-41 in that third quarter. That should never happen for a team like this. I don't care if you're gassed. I don't care if you played 3 nights in a row. A quarter where you go 15-41 against this Bulls team is just completely letting go of the rope. And I was on track to give Tibbs a good grade at the half because he was calling timeouts frequently in the first half, giving guys extra rest, giving guys some breather. But I mean, tonight, Hart had to play 40 minutes again. He did give OG a bit of a rest, extended rest with Bridges in that fourth quarter as well. He did sit Brunson extensively in that fourth. Didn't bring Brunson back until 5 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. And it was still game on at that point. it was still game on at that point as well. Um, Vaughn says, yeah, and we need the bench addressed by the deadline. I think Leon Rose is on it. I have complete faith in Leon Rose to get us some extra pieces. I think that, I'm certainly more salty about just the individual losses last night, tonight. I'm not worried about the season, right? If you guys want to say the Knicks suck, I mean, that's a huge overreaction in my opinion. But you're welcome to your thoughts on it. The Knicks are cruising 24-12. I get you frustrated, but yeah, the Knicks certainly don't suck. They're in a very, very good position. Um, there is a lot of flip-flopping with the fan base. I mean, you got to stay loyal. You can't be jumping on when we're 9-game winning streaks and then saying that we suck the next night. But I get everyone's frustrated as well, so you get a pass. But at the end of the day, man, the Knicks, it was a schedule loss. I mean, back-to-back games when you have to travel. I blame this one firmly on Tibbs last night. Obviously, the rotation. The rotations with last night's game, knowing that you have the back-to-back. I mean, it's inexcusable. You have to trust the bench a bit more. And if you take a loss here and there, you have to live with that. But you got to play the bench more, and we're going to talk about some guys that I think deserve to play more, especially last night. But look, yeah, defensively, the Knicks were doing solid. The Bulls, I mean, they let us score 72 points at the half, and I tweeted this out at the half, and it kind of jinxed us in a way now. But I said the Knicks were just getting whatever they wanted, and something changed drastically in that third quarter. Last night, halftime, 72 points the Knicks scored. I didn't expect a turnaround like that. The Bulls obviously buckled down, and Billy Donovan probably gave them a huge rocket at halftime. The Knicks just came out half asleep. Yeah, I was going to say that next. Is like Vaughn says, the halftime show was a movie. I mean, yeah, no excuses, like you said, absolutely. But I mean, this was the longest halftime I've ever seen. I mean, the Knicks definitely cooled off, and I think that had some part to play. Obviously it was a beautiful ceremony and fantastic tribute to a legend, Derrick Rose. I tip my cap, and there'll be plenty of time to sing his praises next year as his jersey gets retired. So congrats to once a Knick, always a Knick, Derrick Rose. But that halftime show was crazy. I mean, and not in a good way for the Knicks, in my opinion. It was like a 20 to 25 minute halftime break. I've never imagined that before, that they would delay a real NBA game at halftime just to have a ceremony. I mean, the players were completely half asleep when they came out. Let me know if you think I'm overreacting to that, but I mean, at the end of the day, I do think that the halftime show was way too late. So we got some. Looks like I've got some tech difficulties. I got my original scheduled show popping. So I'm just gonna let the other guys know to jump in this one. Yeah, I understand what might have happened. It was a software glitch. Apologies. Yeah, so we got some of our other family members in the other scheduled show, and just letting them know to jump into our live stream. Looks like things will come good. I mean, yeah, Tibbs has to adjust, Gangstar. I think, he's certainly got some limitations that I'm seeing right now. AP says it. We're in January. We're already tired. Yep, I think that's the case. We put in a lot of effort in the in the month of December, and we bear the fruits. We went on a huge run, but now we have a chance to just steady the ship, solidify our success. Keep this 10 games above 500. And build on it. Build on it. January, it's not going to be the same as December, guys. It is going to be a lot more tricky. Like I said, I would sign up for 9 and 6. I said that not just tonight. I didn't say that last show. I said that 2 shows back. that I would have signed up for 9 and 6 in this month. Yeah, so I would have signed up for 9 and 6. Let us know. Just bear with me for 1 second. Let's give out these grades, fam. Vaughn says Melo needs his flowers. I think Melo been getting flowers with the organization. You know, he's been welcomed back with open arms. And let's see what happens, yeah, with the Hall of Fame too. But yeah, appreciate you guys showing out tonight, man. Tough situation. Back-to-back losses. Obviously, we're not as buzzing as we were after that 9-game win. But the Knicks will get it back, and we'll get these losses back, fam. Like we did the same way we felt bad, after that Atlanta loss. You know, some of these other really, really bad losses. I think the New York Knicks will put their foot back on the gas, and we'll bounce back and get some big wins, fam. We need that home cooking. So tonight, man, Cat 44 points, 16 rebounds, right? Unbelievable performance. Battled through foul trouble. He was getting fouled. I mean, it was battling through that physical contact. Went 9 of 10 though from the free throw. The Knicks went 22 of 28. 3 of 7 from distance. Tried to get the Knicks back into it, but the Knicks just didn't have it going with anyone else. I mean, Brunson had a really good first half, but then he just completely slipped away. Miguel says must win the homestand coming up. Definitely agree. Knicks are owed 6 home games, says Mr. Shy. The Knicks got plenty of home games, fam, coming up, and they'll definitely make those teams pay. I think Oklahoma is the one that I definitely want to get back. I know you guys really want to beat. We've won the season series against Orlando, so I know we're definitely going to, get a win in that one again. They've got no Paolo, no Franz Wagner right now. But yeah, the New York Knicks just need to keep winning. I think we're basically all but guaranteed a 3rd seed, in my opinion. We just have to take advantage of the teams that we need to beat, right? Today was more of a schedule loss. It was just frustrating to be in control of a game. Like if we looked like we just didn't have it going from the first quarter, I would have been more like, all right, it is what it is. But I'm way more frustrated because, the way the game was going, you score 72 points at the half. You don't anticipate a collapse like that. 15 points in the 3rd quarter was crazy. But yeah, what's your take on the foul situation? The way the game's being officiated with Cat and with Brunson. I mean, I know our guys are trying to adjust to it. You got a lot of people saying, don't blame the referees and all of that, and I'm certainly not blaming them on the loss, but it doesn't mean that you can't call it out and say that the officiating is bad. I mean, both things can be correct at the same time. Right? Just because officiating is awful doesn't mean you don't call it out. Yeah, you know what I mean. And certainly the Knicks blame themselves tonight, but as a whole, the season, it's been very interesting the way the Knicks have been officiated. I'll say that, fam. As Cat gets my A for tonight, man, 44 points, incredibly, battling with heart, with passion, with energy in the paint as well. He was getting to the rack and almost willed us to the victory, got us back into it. The Knicks, like I said, should have got within 5, but that dubious, 3 was overruled with the foul on Cameron Payne. I mean, that was the game right there, fam. Denzo says we need to trade for a stronger bench. We'll not win a championship with this weaker bench. I think that goes without saying. Absolutely, I think the starting 5 is right where we want it to be at, and I do think that our bench is the next thing. And a lot of people have made that point about, maybe we need a couple of extra, trade cycles, trade deadlines, and transaction cycles. Yeah, to get things popping. I do think Leon Rose, man, he's a junkie. He's a basketball junkie. He's living in the office, figuring out ways, targets, and he's made an in-season trade. So every season, and I do think Leon Rose will make some things happen. So I've got full faith that the Knicks will solidify their bench a lot more as well. But as a whole, man, there's so much positive to think about with our starting five. I mean, when our offense is clicking, it's amazing. I do think Mitchell Robinson's health and place on this team is being underplayed a bit. I do think you see nights like tonight, you see nights like last night against Oklahoma. A guy like Mitchell Robinson, when healthy, can be really, really important to this team. I mean, Karl Anthony Towns still has those nights where, yeah, it's just he's doing so much on the offensive end that he just doesn't have it going, on the other end, and he's not a defensive first kind of guy as well. So yeah, the other guys have to come ready and have to help him out a lot more, fam, in terms of rotating better, bringing the help defender. But Cat has to be better himself. No, none of this indisciplined, silly fouling, man. If you're gonna foul a guy, just bear hug him, man, and make sure that he doesn't get an and one. But some of that ill-disciplined stuff from Cat, does frustrate me on the defensive side. Next up, Brunson, 11 of 20 tonight. Perfect first half. He was in his bag in the second quarter. Finished 10 of 11 from the free throw, 8 dimes, 33 points, but was a minus 18. And so, I mean, that tells the story. So I'm going to be a bit more harsh on Brunson tonight, although, being missing the last game prior to last night and battling last night and then tonight, he just didn't have it going. Excellent first half, but wasn't able to finish the job. So I'm going to give JB a C+ for tonight. Yeah, apparently the news about the jersey retirement for D Rose, that was revealed before the game. It was revealed to D Rose in a video, which was pre-recorded a lot earlier. So yeah, it was already announced, I think, earlier today. They announced that they were going to retire his jersey. So they did. Yeah, that maybe did give the Bulls an extra bit of juice as well. But yeah, I'm certainly not saying that's an excuse at all. In terms of the next game coming up, I mean, Orlando, yeah, just keep it rolling, fam. Yeah, you guys, I know you're frustrated, but yeah, if you want to be glass half full, I'm more glass half positive in terms of where the Knicks are at. It's a marathon, not a sprint. You know, people get torn up in the regular season way too much. I mean, regular season basketball, it's a glorified warm-up, fam. They don't give out trophies. They don't give out, the championship in the regular season. I mean, the Knicks are on pace for 55 plus wins. So I don't know what there is to be down about too much. Yes, we want the bench cleaned up, but, if I had offered you 24 and 12 when the season started, I mean, you'd kind of be out of your mind to say no, if you wouldn't sign up for 24 and 12. I mean, even the best teams have down nights. You got Boston went 5 of 5 in their last 10 games. I mean, you don't see them jumping out the window. Fam, you don't see them crashing off a bridge when they're the Boston Celtics going 5 of 5. I mean, the Knicks have got work to do. They are a work in progress at the end of the day, but you can't be so win good, lose bad, in the kind of way that we are. And I'm certainly not a guy that makes excuses because we have a long way to go, but we are in a good position at 24 and 12, right now. You look at teams like Philly that thought they were a contender and they're in the lottery right now. You've got Miami that are about to blow things up. You got Indiana that are absolutely, in the cellars right now. We're right there, fam. We're right where we need to be. Leon Rose just needs to make a few tweaks. We need to get Derek Rose. We need to get Mitchell Robinson, and we need to get Deuce McBride back healthy. And then I think we're in a really solid situation once we get those guys in. So yeah, let us know your thoughts on the next couple of matchups coming up. Mr. Shy says we've had 2 collapsing quarters these past 2 games. No excuses for that. I mean, the excuse is they're gassed. It's not an excuse. It's a blight on Tibbs. Um, I think we just can't really beat around that. I think we're a world beater when we're fully healthy and we're fresh, and when we're fatigued, we're completely vulnerable. And I think that lies at the foot of Tibbs, definitely. David says we don't play defense. I mean, yeah, you're looking at game by game, I guess, if you want to say that, fam. The Knicks were second in defense prior to last night's game in the last 10. So I think the defense has been making strides. But yeah, I do think a guy like Mitchell Robinson, just that assurance, even it's 15 minutes. I mean, I'm not expecting Mitch to come back and play 25 to 30 because I think those days are gone, fam, with Karl Anthony Towns here playing so well. But I do think Mitchell Robinson for a 15 to 20-minute stretch could be a nice role for him just to shore up our defense, when we need. Um, we're definitely not the defensive team we were last season. Yeah, I mean, you guys should know by now, man, our identity has changed. I think we're not going to be that kind of defensive team as last year, unless Mitchell Robinson comes back fully healthy and plays a major role. But right now, our offense is one of the best in the league, and that's the avenue that they're going with. Leon Rose and co. But yeah, I think guys got to rotate better. And look, the Bulls, like Buzzer says, it was always going to be really tough tonight. They're an athletic, long team. You got Giddy, Levine, Colby White, Dalen Terry, Lonzo Ball. I mean, I feel like I'm missing a few other guys as well. They threw THT out there for a minute. I mean, they threw so many bodies out there. They got up and down, and they ran us out of the gym, fam, in that third quarter. But when we get back to MSG and we get a bit of a rest, just like we did after that NBA Cup, I think we're going to go on another 9-game run. We're gonna get a nice little streak popping again. So next up, Mikal Bridges, 8 of 18, 18 points. Again, was a minus 21, but didn't hit a 3 tonight. So I think Breen actually called Bridges out subtly in the call. Had a really bad pull-up 3 in transition. It was just an awful shot selection at that point. And Mike Breen kind of said, yeah, those are the shots you don't really like. And I like that from Mike Breen, fam. I really felt like, Mike Breen echoed the thoughts of all of us at that point. Mikal Bridges does have some bad shot selection in him at times. Finished 8 of 18, but look, defensively couldn't slow down those guys in the third quarter. So dial up the grade for Mikal tonight. Was excellent last night, but yeah, a real comeback down in this one. So I'm gonna go a C for the grade tonight for Mikal Bridges. Gangstar, about Tibbs being a defensive guru. I mean, that's what he's supposed to be. But even him, if you don't have the kind of personnel, you're not going to be able to play, elite defense with Karl Anthony Towns as the 5. You're going to need to be a magician to figure something out. I mean, you can only be as good as your personnel in terms of defense. If you give him Luol Deng in his prime, Joakim Noah, Taj Gibson, you're going to get elite defense. So yeah, Tibbs, it's kind of, I think it's a bit misunderstood at times. Vaughn says defensively, this group gives up more open looks than anyone. And why can't Cat get good contests? I don't understand. Yeah, in terms of the group, we definitely do have a tendency to let some crazy runs, happen. I do think it's all out on the perimeter. If teams try to run and get downhill, we have to be better at transition defense. They do put a lot of pressure on the rim, and Karl Anthony Towns is a suspect rim protector down there. So if they can run, we have to stop them at the perimeter. I think that's where it starts. Chris gives Bridges a D. Bad shot selection. Defense could have been better. Yeah, 100% agree with you on that one, fam. Yeah, let's talk about OG next up. Let's look at OG's numbers, fam. Remember to smash that like button. We've got the Knicks streets buzzing. We'll get back to winning ways in the next one on Monday, back at MSG against Orlando. Hopefully we get another streak popping, fam. OG tonight was 5 of 12 from the field, 2 of 6, 5 rebounds, 12 points, -8, 32 minutes. So, look, man, yeah, just not one of his nights. But I guess the biggest positive I take away is that 32 minutes. He didn't run him into the ground tonight. So hopefully OG, he recovered well from last night with that heavy fall on the elbow. And I do think OG Anunoby should be a lot better for the next game. So I'm going to give OG, let's dial up his grade, fam. I'll give OG a C+ as well for tonight's performance. OG gets the C+. Definitely it was tough, man, flying from Oklahoma to Chicago. It's just so frustrating that it had such a good first half and just basically went missing. Vaughn says transition defense is certainly an issue, and the lack of contested threes is alarming. Yeah, they let go of the rope, fam, in that third quarter. Their legs, they just didn't have it to contest. I think Chicago's that bad. Seriously, Chicago is that bad that they just kind of let go of the rope as well and let the Knicks back into it. And Cat just kept playing. That's a tribute to how good our offense is. Sometimes you just give us 3 to 4 minutes, we can put 10 points on you, and we're back in the game. Unfortunately, we're just not getting stops. At the other end. Yeah, so I think that's what it is. Buzzer says no energy to contest the fast breaks and the threes. Yeah, it's a bad matchup, like you said. Zach LaVine getting downhill. Kobe White, all of that, man. It's a bad recipe, fam. It's a bad recipe. So let's give Hart and Tibbs the grade. And then I want to talk about some Westchester guys that I think should be getting some minutes, fam. They need to be. Although it is trade season now, let's see if Leon Rose, he might make something happen earlier. Fam, remember he did make that Derrick Rose trade in December when that season happened. So Leon Rose can make an early season trade. The Josh Hart trade happened early as well. So Leon Rose, hopefully he's really, looking deep into who's out there around the league to help this Knicks bench. I mean, I tell you what, guys, we're going to talk about our bench, but we really are missing Deuce McBride. I mean, talk about six man. I mean, that doesn't do him justice. He is so important to this team, man. He's like a fifth starter, is Deuce McBride. Let's keep it real, because sometimes Hart, OG, and Bridges don't have it going, and we always rely on a Deuce McBride to come in and to give us 15 points, give us good 3-point shooting. Tonight, 26% from distance. But Hart tonight, 40 minutes, didn't hit a field goal, hit 2 free throws, gave us 16 rebounds, 10 assists, still gave us a double-double, man, on a down night. Did Josh Hart. So I mean, what can you say about Josh Hart, fam? Double-double on a down night. So I'm gonna dial up the grade right now for Josh Hart. 16 rebounds, 10 dimes. He gets a B for me, but unfortunately, you won't get any better than that because yeah, the team just didn't have it in that second half. Yes, Karl Anthony Towns got hurt tonight. Karl Anthony Towns did get hurt tonight in the last 3 minutes. Looked like a knee, maybe a lower hamstring knee, limped back to the locker room. No updates, unfortunately, at the minute. Um, you know, he was grimacing in pain. So, yeah, let's stay tuned, fam. He might be questionable. He might need to rest a bit. It didn't look anything like serious, but that's just based on what it looked like. We wait to see. But yeah, prayers up. Hopefully, man, hopefully it's nothing major. Although I do think the Knicks still have enough to do without Cat for a few games if he needs to miss. We're going to talk about our schedule coming up in a minute. But for, last but not least, man, Tom Thibodeau. I'm towing the line between an F. But we did have a good first half, despite the low energy after last night. But yeah, Tibbs will end up with a D for me tonight. What is your grade for Tibbs? Fam, you guys are on fire tonight. Salute. Smash that like button. I think it's just a bit of bad luck with the Cat situation. I mean, yeah, the guy was playing so hard, fam. Yeah, you could say Murphy's Law. You could talk about a situation where it's just the game is kind of out of reach, but Cat is just fighting so hard to get us back in the game, man. I mean, I've been so impressed with Cat this season for the most part. Obviously, some of those things that stick with him throughout his scouting report and career are still there. And I think that's just how it'll go. He has a tendency to pick up cheap fouls. He's not a defensive kind of player. I mean, you can hold that against him, but that is just what he is. He's an All NBA caliber kind of player. Um, you know, you could look at guys like a Giannis Antetokounmpo. He has his weaknesses as well. Steph Curry has weaknesses as well. Um, you look at guys that we used to have in Julius Randle, RJ Barrett. Those guys had flaws in their game as well. Unfortunately, there's no perfect player right now, but for what Cat's done, I think he deserves, all his flowers for this season. And yeah, he'll get us closer to a championship than many, many, many former Knicks. I think we just have to surround these guys with some more depth, and then we're really, really talking about a championship run, fam, in my opinion. Um, Tony, salute. The Knicks are a tired team right now. Shez V, salute to you. And David M says still a D for me. Salute Buzzer Beater. Appreciate you. Give us your thoughts. What are you thinking right now? So that is our starters, guys. Precious Achua, Landry Shamet, Cameron Payne. That was our bench tonight, our 9-man rotation. Let's give all their grades at the same time. Rapid fire. Precious, 2 of 2. Played 26 minutes, so that is an increase. He should have played more tonight based on, last night's back-to-back. 5 rebounds, -3, gave us 5 points. Was 100% from the field. Landry Shamet, 16 minutes, 2 of 6, 4 points, including that huge 3 that was ruled out. That was the play of the game. I mean, that would have cut it to 5 with at least 5 minutes remaining, 4 to 5 minutes remaining. That, it would have absolutely been a ball game. But the Bulls went back the other way, hit a 3, and it was just an absolute back-breaking sequence. Cameron Payne gave us 3 of 5, a couple of threes. Cameron Payne was 8 points plus 5. He was better tonight than the last game, but some still, deficiencies in his game in terms of, getting the offense flowing to the maximum capability. and picking the right shots. 3 assists is nice. 13 minutes. I would have kind of loved him to get more than 3 assists. We're going to talk about Tyler Kolek in a minute. But yeah, those are the 3 guys off our bench, fam. What are your grades for these guys? I'll give Precious Achua a C plus. I'll dial up Cameron Payne's grade, and I'll also dial up the grade for Landry Shamet, fam. Actually, I might just adjust that. Let me switch that up. Incoming with these 2 grades, Precious Achua and Cameron Payne, together with Landry Shamet. Yeah, I'll give Precious Achua a C. I think Landry deserves a B minus. I thought he gave us some really, really good minutes tonight. Was productive defensively. Was Landry, was getting after it. I think for a guy that's not really hitting shots right now, and that's unfortunate, but yeah, he's definitely trying to make the most of his minutes on the defensive side. And that's all you can ask for, fam. If the shots ain't falling, don't let it affect your effort. David gives the bench a solid B for what they gave us tonight. Chris says bench played decent tonight. They should have played more minutes. So we're going to talk about the rest of the league right now. You guys are buzzing. I think the New York Knicks are right there. We're not even at the halfway point of the season, 24-12. A lot to be happy about, a lot to be positive about, and some things that we need to clean up. There's no doubt about it. But yeah, we sit here in the 3rd seed. We do have some cushion on Orlando, who are 4th, and we get to play Orlando next up. So I think that is a key thing to look out for right now as I pull up the table. Let's take a look. After tonight, the Knicks moved to 24-12 on the season. 24-12. So 12 games above 500 still. We lost the last 2, but we're 8-2 in our last 10, fam. We have a 13-8 road record, and we have an 11-4 home record, fam, as well. We've got now the big homestand coming up. Let's take a look. Orlando, the Raptors, who have beaten both already. The big rematch against Oklahoma next Friday. And then another back-to-back, Milwaukee and Detroit. So basically 5 games. We need to go at least 3-2 minimum, in my opinion. We have a great chance to go 4-1 as well. So game at a time. But I think we beat Orlando at home. We get a day's rest on Sunday. Back at it Monday. Hopefully a win against Orlando. I think we'll get it. Wednesday, the Raptors. I think that's a win. Oklahoma. I think that's a win. Honestly, I think we definitely want to get them revenge back after that tough loss last night. And then next Sunday, Milwaukee, Detroit, back to back. We might drop one of those, fam, just because it's another back to back situation. What do you guys think? Do you think we go 5-0? Would you take 3-2? Do you expect 4-1? What are you thinking about, the next 5 games? Vaughn says, I'll leave you with this. I'd love to hear your thoughts on Cam Whitmore. We need wing depth and scoring. Yeah, I think he's a guy that you could look at. I think a guy that you can maybe get, on the cheap, a guy who hasn't peaked yet. I think the Knicks are experts at finding guys like that. Remember when the Knicks signed Hartenstein and people were like, what? Who is Hartenstein? Who is he? People like 8 million. That's an overpay. And we ended up turning Hartenstein into a household name. So that's what the Knicks do. We find we find guys like Quentin Grimes, who's now thriving in Dallas. You know, we find guys like that, and we turn them into, into great players. So I think there's so many players out there that's going to be thrown around in discussions. Deuce McBride is kind of our guy, our homegrown guy. I hope that we keep him. I think there's no way you can entertain moving a guy like a Deuce. I think he's a guy that you absolutely keep. I would trade Precious. I don't think he's a needle mover. I would prefer to keep Precious, but I think if there's a deal out there that makes sense, I think he's not untouchable. Jericho Sims is definitely not untouchable. Ideally, I want to keep all of our rookies, but again, you have to see what you're getting back. Yeah, we'll talk about it more as the trade deadline approaches, fam. But basically, the Knicks lose back-to-back games, and I think we still have a 3-game cushion on Orlando, and we play them next ball game, fam. We have a 5-game lead on the Milwaukee Bucks, and we play them in the next 4 games as well. So it's all about just beating the competition around you. Obviously, Cleveland and Boston will have a chance to take a chunk out of them later in the future. We still have a chance to catch Boston, definitely. It's still close enough with enough time remaining. But 2nd seed, 3rd seed, like I said before, man, the regular season it's all about a warm-up, to get ready for the playoffs. I'm not going to sweat over the regular season so much if we're on track for a 50-win season. I mean, that's good enough to get you a top 4 seed. I think what you need is health. You need these guys fresh, and you need more depth for the ready for the playoffs, fam. That's just the way I see it. You're going to have some really feel-good wins in the regular season, and we're going to be riding high, and you're going to have some really down nights where you're frustrated and you can't wait to get right in the next game. That's just where we're at right now. Updates on Deuce's return, Chris. I do think Deuce will be probably right to go in the next game, fam. He was very, very close tonight. He did the full warm-up. He was a game-time decision tonight. So, yeah, I don't expect Deuce to be out much longer. I think there's a great chance he'll be probable for the very next game, fam. We get back to New York. Obviously, the team can rest tomorrow and get back on Monday night, fam, for this 5-game homestand. If there's one thing to be optimistic about, look at this. Home record. The Knicks 11-4 at MSG. So let's keep that rolling. Now tonight, man, the Miami Heat suffered one of their worst losses in franchise history with a 36-point loss to the Utah Jazz, fam. Let go of the rope, fam. Blow it up. Pat Riley, man, and Jimmy Butler out there suspended. Miami Heat down bad tonight. Clutch loss for the Milwaukee Bucks as well. So not too bad for a night situation where the Knicks lose back-to-back games. You have the Milwaukee Bucks lose to the Blazers, a Western Conference team. So that's good, fam. We have the Atlanta Hawks. Looks like they're going to go down to the Clippers in Kawhi Leonard's return as well. The Pacers picked up a win, unfortunately. Philly's way back as well, but those teams are way back. And panic station setting in for the Minnesota Timberwolves, fam. 119-105, Minnesota. Absolutely struggling right now. We're still on the better side of that trade every single day, man. And twice on Sunday, ladies and gentlemen. So yeah, that's where we sit, fam. Let's get it on Monday against Orlando. But the Knicks still hold on to a 3rd seed with a 3-game cushion on the Magic, fam. And we are 2.5 games back of the Boston Celtics. Yeah, look, Cavaliers are handling their business, but I think they're in for a rude shock when the postseason hits. Like I said, chop this up. Let's revisit it when the postseason starts. I mean, it's a completely new playing field. It's 0-0 when the postseason starts. You can win as many games as you want in the regular season, man. I don't care if Cleveland go 82-0, fam. When game one of the postseason starts, they're in for a rude awakening, fam, because it's a completely level playing field, right? It's all easy to beat Dallas when they don't have Luka and Kyrie. It's easy to beat up on these teams, when they're clicking, fam. If they have a game without Donovan Mitchell or Darius Garland, Evan Mobley, let's see how they deal with adversity, because it is going to hit. I think every team does face adversity. I mentioned Boston earlier tonight, fam. Prior to the last game, they were 5-5. I mean, talk about some of our guys overreacting. If you're the Boston Celtics fan and you went 5-5, man, you'd be having generational crash outs if you were them. But I don't see them panicking. They're right there as well. You just want to be healthy when the postseason starts. AP says health and Tibbs don't mix. I hope that's wrong, fam. I hope it's certainly been the story so far, and I think our starting five is elite right now. It needs to be healthy, but we need some guys to give these guys a rest. I felt great with Hart and DiVincenzo coming off our bench, but obviously I still feel great with Cat now in the lineup. Bridges is starting to perform, has been performing up to his standards. But right now, man, look at that bench. I mean, you take Deuce McBride out of there, man. It's not a very pretty sight. And maybe I did undersell that. I was kind of a guy gassing up Landry Shamet a bit. I was gassing up Cameron Payne when things were looking good earlier. But yeah, these last two games, it's been really hit home when the starters are tired, and we need that energy. Now, on that note, let's bring up the numbers from the Westchester Knicks tonight, because they showed out tonight. As I tweeted this out, let's take a look, fam. For those that aren't aware, some of our New York Knicks stayed home and balled out with the Westchester Knicks. Pacome Dardier finished with 21 points on an efficient 8 of 16 from the field. He was inefficient from three. I think he went 3 of 10, fam. 3 of 10, 30% from 3-point range, but was 50% overall, 8 of 16, 21 points. Ariel Hukporti finished with 12 points, 11 rebounds, 2 blocks on 5 of 6 shooting from the field. And Moses Brown, fam. Can you get down with Moses Brown? Does he deserve a chance, man? He could be our most healthiest viable option for that guy to come in and give us some backup center minutes if Mitch can't go. 22 points, 16 rebounds on 9 of 10 shooting, fam. This ain't a flash in the pan, because Moses Brown had some NBA call-up this season. He played well with stretches with Indiana. Ultimately, they got healthier, and they ended up waiving him, and he came back to Westchester. But so far, he's been pretty consistent, man, with Westchester. This is a guy that's got experience. He's something like 25, 26 years old now. I think he's been around. 22 points, 16 rebounds. That's dominant. I mean, he's too good for the G League. I'm not going to lie. 22 points, 16 rebounds, 9 of 10. That tells me that you're just too good for the G League. He might be somewhere between NBA, regular rotation, and G League, somewhere in between. But I do think he deserves an opportunity. I do think. Chris says wouldn't mind bringing Moses and TJ up. Absolutely, I agree. I agree. Look, bare minimum, I'm going to cut Matt Ryan tomorrow, man. I got nothing against the guy. I wish him nothing but success. This is a business at the end of the day. But if I'm Leon Rose, man, first order of business, when we get back to New York City on Monday, I'm waiving Matt Ryan from the two-way and I'm bringing Moses Brown up. And then as soon as March 2nd hits, if he's still available, I'm signing TJ Warren to that 15th roster spot on March 2nd, which is the earliest date that he can be signed. We can sign the 15th guy in March. So not that I'm pinning all my hopes on those guys, but I mean, you have to start somewhere. You have to sign some guys that Tibbs might be able to play, because we're just seeing too much sort of inconsistency with our bench, against elite competition. Now, Precious, Payne, these guys, Shamit, they can look decent against, Detroit's, Portland's, these teams. It's when we play the elite of the elite, you're going to need some better talent. Like Van Venture says, Moses might be able to contribute. I think he's worth a shot, man. I think he's kind of NBA talent. He's got the size, he's got the length. I mean, I don't think he's any worse than Precious. I'm not trying to undersell Precious, but I think at bare minimum, he's going to pull in 10 rebounds. He might give you 10 points if he's playing 20 minutes. He's a big 7'1". He's a big body out there. He's a traditional big man. I'm going to make a prediction as well. Not that I've heard anything, or not that I, seen any reports, but I just feel like maybe a guy like a Jericho Sims, I think he might get cut, or he might get moved at the deadline. Fam, I think, the sun might be setting on Jericho Sims' Knicks career, man. I don't have anything against Jericho. I think he's got great opportunities. We got a lot of value out of the 58th pick. It's been four and a half seasons now, but he was in the rotation, and I'm just reading the I'm reading the signs. He was out of the rotation now. He's behind Precious as well. He still can't get in the game. There's been reported interest from some teams. Maybe speculation, but some second round draft pick compensation. I think if you're not going to play Sims, just move him on. Get a couple of seconds that you can use, maybe in this upcoming draft to, improve our depth, or you can use those multiple seconds to make another trade. Right now, I'm just trying to look for addition by subtraction. Right now, you fill that roster spot with Moses Brown. Right now, outside of that, like I said, I spoke about the Matt Ryan situation. And Deuce McBride has to stick around. I think we have to put a bona fide wing and, ideally a bigger big man, a 4-5 guy, together with Deuce and another wing off our bench. And then I think we're in a much better situation, fam. If our bench is Deuce McBride, Landry Shamet, TJ Warren, Precious Achua, and Moses Brown, I think we're in a better situation, fam. That's 5 guys. You put Landry at the 2. Brunson gets all of the minutes at the 1. Maybe you take Cameron Payne out of the rotation. You play with a bit of extra size with Deuce, Shamet, Warren, Precious Achua, Moses Brown. And you see how that looks. That's worst case scenario, in my opinion. That's without, putting together a trade. Buzzer Beater says TJ Warren is worth a shot at this stage. Jazzman says, unfortunately, Tibbs will be this will be Tibbs's downfall, just like Riley. Van Venture says, yep, he does have the size with Moses Brown. I think there's no excuses. The fact that we signed him with Westchester, you know, we're the ones that get the look at him every single day. We see what he can do right now. But yeah, I think this trade season is coming at a good time, fam. I think Leon Rose might be cooking something up, and he might be making some moves very soon. You know, we're going to blink, fam, and it's going to be mid January right now. This is right in the thick of the trade season. Um, Not that I'm anticipating anything, but Precious Achua does become trade eligible, fam, tomorrow, I think. Um, Not tomorrow, sorry, on Monday. You know, basically the next business day, I think Precious Achua is trade eligible now because he signed his deal. He waived his no trade clause as well. So, you know, we might be seeing something next week at the earliest. The trade deadline is officially February 6th, I think, fam. I think it's somewhere around early mid-February. Yeah, I'm frustrated too, David. I think Huck Porty deserves more of a shot. I think even if it's 10 to 12 minutes, you know, brings in energy. I think Tibbs missed the boat, you know, giving these guys some early minutes. Now that we're struggling a little bit with the minutes, you know, we're kind of thinking now, should we have played these guys earlier? Especially Dardier. I mean, I'm not overreacting to G League minutes, but I mean, the guy looks decent. 21 points on 8 of 16. You know, for a 19-year-old, you know, you can't ask for much more than that. You know, he's scoring efficiently. He can play defense. I mean, bring him up, man. Me personally, I would have given him a shot before Landry Shamet got back. That's just the way I was looking at things. I think Dardier deserved a solid 2-week stretch of solid minutes. That was before Landry Shamet got back. But obviously Shamet's healthy back now. And, you know, he's giving us some minutes. But yeah, Dardier, Huck Porty, Moses Brown, and obviously Kolek. Right now, I've got nothing to lose. I'm giving Kolek Cameron Payne's minutes. Let us know what you guys think. Would you give all of Cameron Payne's minutes to Deuce when he gets healthy and bring in Tyler Kolek? You know, I don't think we have anything to lose. It ain't like Cameron Payne scoring 12 points consistently on efficiency, getting 5 dimes, you know. He's kind of given us up and down play. You know, so I don't think there's anything to lose. Troy says ultimately Warren would not get into Tibbs' rotation unless there's a number of injured players or players are tired. That's how Deuce got into the rotation. Hopefully Tibbs doesn't do that. But yeah, I can understand what you mean, fam. I think Tibbs' stubbornness is just sort of creeping in once again, man. You know, he gets the most out of this team in terms of wins and losses. But right now, I think if we do get to the postseason, I worry that we are going to be out on our feet, you know, once again. Marcus Morris is another guy that, although the fact that he hasn't been picked up by any NBA team does kind of tell you that maybe he's kind of lost it. Maybe he's washed. I'm surprised that Marcus Morris hasn't got on a team yet. Yeah, so that is it for tonight, guys. Salute to the chat. Salute replay squad. Smash that like button. Unfortunately, the Knicks lose back-to-back games, but a couple of results went our way tonight with the Bucks losing, Atlanta losing, and it looks like the Knicks still keep their cushion on the Orlando Magic, although we do have to beat them and make sure that we get that next game. We already win the season series, but Orlando will be out for revenge, fam. And then the Raptors game next Wednesday will be more difficult, especially that they're more healthy now. Emmanuel Quickley is back, and then Oklahoma. So we can't let this skid, you know, continue, and we have to end the skid as well with these 2 back-to-back losses in this one. But shout out to you all. Salute. Many blessings. Hope you are doing well during this New Year period. stay buzzing, and we'll get it on Monday night, fam, as the Knicks hopefully get back on track in New York versus the Magic. In this one, our guys just need some good rest after this. So peace out.